Hello, welcome to VOP this morning. Of course, we have Mr. Lawal Ekundaya, who's an educationist and a farmer, to help us make sense of all the headlines on the newspaper this morning. Good morning, Mr. Lawal.
Good morning.
So we're going to kick off with Daily Trust this morning. And on the banner headline says, protests in Lagos, Osun, Edo over hardship. Federal government, Labour meeting deadlocked. IG puts officers on red alert, warns troublemakers. Begin food importation now, TUC tells federal government. On top of the nameplate, we have reps to conclude constitution amendment in 24 months. I believe Mr. Lawal is going to be smiling to that because he has been talking a lot about amending the constitution. Moving on, real sector starved of forex, says NECA. Water scarcity hits FCT. Bandits displaced 10 communities in Kaduna. 7 killed in Benue cult clash. Gaza war. U.S. airman set self ablaze outside Israeli embassy. Orosaya report. EFCC, ICPC, CCB to merge. PTAD, PTDF, and NEWA to be scrapped. And that's all we have for Daily Trust this morning. Mr. Lawal, which of these headlines would you want to react to?
The constitutional review.
Okay.
But that constitutional review is a good move, which we've been asking for. But the process is what scares me. You get it? Because when you want to do a constitutional review, you must listen to all the parties that are involved. It's not something that the House will just sit down and say they are amending. No, we are still going to go back to square one if we do that. Because the aggrieved parties, if they are not involved, we'll go back to square one. What I mean by aggrieved parties is that all those ethnic areas that make up Nigeria must be involved. Their views, their opinions must be considered. Okay. That was why the Jonathan during his administration, he did this referendum. You get it, but it was never opened up till now. So that thing must be brought out, and everybody must see what was done in that thing, so that it can be, we can see whether it's something can be added to the constitutional review. So that's the fear. I don't want us to go back to square one. So it has to be open.
Are you surprised of this news?
That the constitutional review.
Yeah.
No, it's not that I'm surprised.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear it.
Okay.
But I'm afraid of the process. I fear the process.
Don't you think the government would have looked into all the, to the clause before bringing up this?
When you say government doesn't mean the people who are in the ends of affairs. Because without the population, without the public, there can never be government.
But that's why we have representatives who actually represent the people. Mm-hmm. They would have had the discussion with their people from the grassroots.
In Nigeria, across the world, you don't do that. Even where people are, where election malpractices are, curbed, you don't do that. You must listen to the people, because the people who represent you are very, very few. You have how many senators in the whole of Lagos? 3. And the Lagos population, look at the number. So how will it go around to know all the ethnics, all the obas?
We have the second chamber.
Even we decide how many are they? 6.
So you think they're not enough?
Which is being pulled from every constituency. We have them pulled to represent the people.
That is why I'm saying, you get it, that though they represent the people, but it's not enough.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's get into another paper now. We have the Vanguard on our table. The Vanguard here, one headline here reads, hardship ahead NLC rally, protests rock Edo, Lagos, Osun. Sub-riders, fix economy or resign. Edo CSOs tell Tinubu. Will defend protesters nationwide. Police HQ places men on red alert nationwide. Warns in posters against hijack. TSOs ask members Nigerians to join NLC protest. All right, and then right underneath that one we have enhancing maritime security, and then there's a pictorial there. Right beside it we have Edo Guba. Idahosa's men petition Ganduje wants Uzodinma's report upheld. TUC advises FG to allow importation of food items. And then let's quickly look above the nameplate. Political risk, regulatory concerns, threaten infrastructure funds. Tinubu reduces 263 MDAs to 161 as FEC adopts Oronsaye's report. Nigeria will work if Southeast works optimally. Shetima. Light Up Nigeria project will spur Southeast industrialization, says Mba. All right. And let's see now. Basically, I think these are all the headlines that we have from the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, what do you make of the brouhaha going on in Edo State over who emerges to represent the APC?
But to me, I think it's one of the things we are talking about in the country. You get, because it's like INEC. And
no. This isn't about INEC now. This is about the party itself.
No,
It seems disorganized.
That's what I'm trying to. Okay. I'm trying to look at the whole structure from the beginning to the end.
Go ahead.
Each one of them, the INEC, you get, because the INEC has to be there. When you are doing your primaries, INEC has to be there. It must be represented. So when it's represented, it will now take. It will make sure that it is conducted according to the laid down rules in INEC. Then they will now pick the name of the person that emerged as a candidate, and then the name is the one that they will now use and no other name. So if INEC is represented there, and you are now coming out, the APC is now coming out to present maybe two people, or maybe saying something is rocking here or not. Where INEC is there, everybody is looking at INEC now to say, who do you pick? You were there, are you not there?
No, so but it's not up to INEC to pick. It's up to
what I'm saying that INEC was there.
A representative of INEC.
Yes,
of course.
INEC was there. So if election that took place here was not free and fair or properly done, you would have said no, you have to redo it. Okay. But if INEC is not saying anything, that means INEC has a candidate already. That means the election was what I mean. That means the election in APC to pick their candidate was okay. So INEC must have got a candidate name from that primary.
All right.
So this is not the first time we're having something like that. In Imo State also, we actually experienced that with Labour Party. Before they finally had their own election. So
is it more of a party?
I think it's a party thing.
INEC too is not doing his work, because you're supposed to come and say, no, this is the candidate that we have his name. When the election was done, no, this is the candidate that we have the name. So every other thing you are saying is null and void. Everybody would have kept quiet. Right. But INEC kept quiet and the parties are fighting. So the question is, INEC, who you were there, were you not? So tell us your candidate.
You seem to have a grasp with INEC. That's right. INEC needs to do better, right? Okay, so we agree on that one.
So even when it's the fault of the party, INEC still...
Right, let's get into another paper.
We have to look at the Punch newspaper. And
we have to?
Above the nameplate from the Punch, I have to... Okay, this says that police deploy anti-riot squad as NLC holds protest today. Above the nameplate, Ogun, Kogi, Taraba government felicitate Punch at 50. Just beneath the nameplate, 12 years after Tinubu adopts Oronsaye report emerges urgency. The rider says that Tinubu orders SGF panel to implement measures in 12 weeks. Minister rules out job losses. NDPHC, the Aspera Commission, 2 others moved to ministries, PTAD abolished. Oronsaye report, 541 parastatals, commission and agencies of FG. Key recommendations were also there. This is a pictorial. 263 agencies to be slashed to 161, and Savicam becomes BPSR department. 38 agencies to be scrapped. 241 billion naira to be saved if that is judiciously implemented. Sun lists expectation as Supreme Court Justice rise to 21. Customs suspends rice sales after 7 dies in stampede. You can get that on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. CBN sells over $300 million to bank as Naira gains. That is on the page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Okay, and that is it on the Punch newspaper this morning. Mr. Lawal, which of those headlines got your attention?
Customs suspend rice sale after 7 dying. Actually, I was on that Friday. I was on my way to Unilag, so I was in Yaba. So I saw this. I saw 2 LASMA officials with rice half bag. They carried it. So we saw all those rowdy, and there was traffic close to Unilag. So we were now wondering what's going on. Is that customs is sharing, selling rice at 10,000 per half a bag, I think.
25 kg.
Yes, and people were rushing there. So I was in the vehicle, the commercial vehicle. So I just went my business. I didn't come there, but we saw people, rushing, and everything. And then this thing happened on Saturday. We get the death of innocent Nigerians trying to live their life. So, what advice do you think? Do you think TUC wants to advise?
Anyway, we'll get into that one because it's part of the things we're talking about later.
So,
go ahead.
The death of innocent Nigerians. I have, because they sent me the video later. I saw Nigerians, even soldiers, trying to scale the fence to go into the compound and get their own share. You see women, if you see the way they push women, you get it, by the buttocks, so throw them over the fence.
People were trying so hard to get into the compound. From what happened really is that initially, now the announcement had been made that rice will be given to Nigerians. That was, I think, Friday before. And then
it started on Friday.
Nigerians gathered there to purchase. It was to be 10,000 naira per 25 kg bag of rice.
And then with their NIN, I think.
Yes, you must have NIN and BVN and the rest of it. But that's not even the issue. Now, at a certain point, the customs officials decided to start giving it free without collecting money. That was when the stampede took place. People were rushing. Now, the problem I have with that is, couldn't there have been a more orderly manner of distribution as against allowing people converge in a compound? A compound, obviously, that cannot take Lagosians. I mean, when people hear that rice is being distributed, people will come from different parts of Lagos. And people converged on Harvey Road to get a fair share. I don't know if you did say you saw a video. I saw a video of people bleeding. I saw a woman carrying rice on her head eventually, but her hijab was stained in blood. There was another man who was clinging to his 25 kg bag of rice, but he was bleeding from his head. And, people were trampled to death. People, yes, that's a video of, people that gathered right there in the compound trying to get access to the customs compound there so they could have a fair share of the 25 kg bag of rice. This is
lack of
dehumanizing. It is dehumanizing. Nigerians have been reduced to beggars.
Yes.
I mean, it has even gotten to a situation where Nigerians, not those in IDP camps, I'm talking regular Nigerians now, line up with plates to collect food.
It's
When
terrible.
will this end?
It's terrible. It's
It
terrible.
is terrible.
People will, it shows that the people are, desperate, they are hopeless.
And then when people come up to talk about the way the hardship is striking us, another people will say that it is being politically inclined. When people are talking about the level of hunger, the level of hardship, economic hardship, that untold hardship that Nigerians are passing through day by day on a daily, you know, other persons will wake up and say this is being a political issue.
And for you to see security agencies joining the people to try to get their share.
Agencies.
No, what I'm saying
the security agencies, to be fair.
Because to show that they are seriously feeling the bite.
Everyone is.
Everybody. So who is not politicizing it?
But then, moving away from this a little bit, the people who actually own these rights that is being shared are human beings. These are people that own businesses.
I was even coming to that.
So
I was even...
That's another thing. That's another
sense.
Because these things were seized from
people.
It's not planting rice. For God's sake, you seize this rice from people.
So the money being
are you going to
collected,
be depending on seized rice to feed Nigeria? Are you going to be depending on these are people's businesses you have ruined?
Isn't it the same way vehicles are impounded and
then you now begin to auction it? It doesn't make sense. It shows that the government they don't care. Because these are some people who are going to be destroyed, for God's sake. You are going to destroy some people.
Post that said someone actually died.
Are you not going to be depending on that every now and then? Are you going to be depending on that every now and then to feed the Nigerians? We have to seize some people's things to feed Nigeria.
Is that the right thing to do? Is that the right thing?
I even had there was a time they went to Abuja and they lock down a store because they said the price on it. For God's sake, everybody has been doing their own prices. Dangote did his own prices. He didn't go to lock his own store because he increased his own price. So if I have my store and I discover that I need to increase my price, I can do that. Did government buy it for me? Worst of the world, you go and set up your own store. You get it so that people can divide to that area and leave my store alone. If the price change that day, can I not change my price? If your fuel change in like government coming out to say subsidy removed, that day you see price of petrol change instantly. Will I not? Don't I have the right to change my own? I have the right. So why are you going there to lock the store? The same thing that customs are doing now, impounding people's, destroying people's businesses, impounding their thing and dishing it out to some people. So people will have to wait for customs to seize people's goods before they can eat.
So who takes the money that the people are being
paid?
Paid to the
now.
money people pay to customs.
Telling so many things.
All right, then this is how far we can stretch the newspaper review. We'll be getting into our major talking points.
Which is, agencies are set to be merged as President Tinubu implements the Oseni report. Details will return after this quick break.
All right, then stay with us.